in this video, I'm just going to show you some quick editing techniques just to enhance photos and some of the common problems we've got with our advisory photos. Okay, so I've got a number of photos up on my screen in Photoshop here, and I'll just show you some quick things that you can do to kind of improve them. So this one here, probably the first thing we want to do is we want to think about cropping. Okay, so there's a big space here and here, so we want to crop it. Okay, so the crop tool is this one. Okay, you also want to think about the shape that you're wanting to put it in. So on the advisory template, we have the big image at the top is like long and thin, okay, and then the other images are a bit more like a rectangle. Okay, so just think about that when you're doing it, okay, because if you get the crop approximately right, it's going to fit a lot better. So if I was wanting to use this one for the top, I can that would be good. Okay, so when I do the crop tool, I get this frame coming up on the edges of my frame, and I just move this down to do that. I can do it free, so I can set the shape as I want, like completely free. I can enhance, I can keep the original by holding down Shift, and then you see the proportions stay the same, okay? So I'm a bit more limited with that, but then it means that it's a regular rectangle, okay? In the standard format, okay? So if I was gonna use this in one of the four images on the page, I'd probably want to keep it in the rectangle because then I know that that's got this size. Okay, so I can kind of, if I want to get rid of the space at the top, I can move it to here, and then I can move the image up within. Okay, so I could extract some part of it, so I could get rid of the person here, and then it gives me a little bit more wiggle room. Okay, but this one might be better because it's got a big space at the top. It might be better as if I change the format and I make it like a long thin one. So with this one, I can move this all the way down, and then this would be better for the top photo. I can just get rid of a little bit there. Once I'm happy with the composition I've got, I press the tick here or I press enter, okay? And then it commits to the thing. So there, I've got this one suitable for the top slot on the template, okay? So when we want to enhance the colors and the contrast and the brightness of photos, okay? Each photo is a bit different, so you have to make some different decisions on each one. This one is a little bit like, it's a little bit washed out, could do a little bit more contrast. The exposure's fine, the colors are okay, but I can enhance them a bit, okay? And I'm going to show you a few simple methods. So the most simple, easiest way is to go to Image, Adjustments, and then you have a number of auto ones here. So you can try these, and they do that. This is the simplest way and the quickest way. So auto tone, change the color a bit, contrast, it's sort of added a bit more contrast, and auto color. Okay, and it's just removed a bit of the color cast there. So that's looking a bit natural and it looks better already. Okay, so that's the simplest way. Do that and it's okay. You can kind of save that and leave it. Okay, so that one would be okay to go, I think. We've booched a bit. Another, if you want a little bit more control, you can use some adjustment panels. So you need to get adjustment panels by going Window, Adjustment, and then you get this panel here. Okay, I can actually drag this out, so I can see it a bit more, and I can see some of the possible adjustments here. Also, it's useful to have layers showing when you do this. Okay, because you see when you make an adjustment layer, oh, I just made one by accident, vibrance. Okay, I can get rid of that. But when I click on any of these, I get a new layer coming up, an adjustment layer, and that's good because it's non-destructive. The other ones were destroying or they were acting on the image, so you can't undo them as easily. Okay, so if I use an adjustment layer, I can just get rid of it if I don't like it after I've messed around with it a bit. Okay, so one of the most common ones you can do to enhance an image quickly is levels. I think this is the one that we want to use most, okay, or use first. So levels, I go here, and then I get a new layer, a new adjustment layer, and if I don't want it, what I like, I just toggle it there, okay? But I get this properties panel coming up, and this is my adjustment histogram, okay? So this one actually looks all right. It's quite even. It's a little bit more towards the dark, but it's okay. One of the simplest things you can do with any image is you just move the pointers at each end, the white point and the black point, and you just move it in until you reach sort of some significant pixels. And this just increases the contrast naturally. It brings the lightest point in a bit, and if there's space there, if there's no pixels in this area, it's safe to do that. If I start moving it too much, it's going to have a bigger effect and it doesn't look good very quickly. So I want to move to about there, but that's kind of done quite well. I don't want to move this because there's quite a lot of pixels here. I could maybe move that a little bit, but not too much. And that just makes the darker point in a bit. So that's all right. I can move the middle a little bit darker or lighter, maybe a little bit this way, not too much though. And I get that. These ones do overall brightness or darkness, so this one makes it lighter overall. I don't want to do that because that's taking away contrast. This one, making it darker, it's actually making it too dark, so I don't really want to touch that for this image. So I've got an image here that's a little bit more punchy now, and I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so I would save that one. I'm just going to close it down. I'm not going to save it, but that would be a good choice. Okay, so I do that. You're best to actually save your original and save with a new name. So save as, and then give it a name that's kind of descriptive. So I would do group photo wide, okay? And then I know what it is. It's saved as a Photoshop file, which I don't want for the yearbook, but I can save it like that for the moment. And then I can also, if I want to save it as a JPEG or a PNG, I can file, export. Quick exports PNG is the quickest way to get like a usable one without layers, okay? And it saves another copy of it, okay? So I would save it in my, this is the folder I'm using for this, okay? So there I've got my edited version and the original's in there as well, okay? So I'll close that one down. I'll show you some other things. So here we go, we've got another image here. Again, the cropping. So the crop has actually come up first up because that was what I chose last time, so it's kind of defaulted that. This one, I would want to just move this down, and it's going to be a more square image. I want to also get rid of some of this sofa. It's not very good, so I make it like a rectangle again there. Okay, I enter that. This one, again, it's a little bit low in contrast. The colors are a little bit washed out. So I can do my image adjustment, auto tone, auto contrast is already improving it, auto color. Okay, that's actually quite nice. If I want a little bit more contrast, I can do the levels. And this one, the black point here, I can move that in until there's, yeah, and it's already looking nicer. I can move the middle that way, and I can move that to the end there. Okay, and there I've got a nice image very quickly. I will do the save as. I'll give it a name. I'll do mirror shot. So I'm giving a name and then it'll be easier to find. Okay, so I save the PSD and I save, I export, quick export PNG as well. Okay. Okay, this one, again, so we've got this, getting into a rhythm now. I move this down. Okay, this is making a square image. Okay, enter. Okay, do the same, auto tone, auto contrast, auto color. Okay, so there we go. And then I'll go into do levels again. This one, just move this there, move the middle a bit this way, a little bit darker in the middle, and a little bit there. Okay, that's a bit too much. I don't really want to affect that. And I think I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so I would save that one again and do that. So you see that when if I've got the levels panel here and I undo that, I kind of can see the effect of that levels adjustment has had. Okay, and it looks kind of more punchy. Okay, I'm just going to close that. I won't save this one at the moment. Okay, here we've got another one. I'm just going to show you the levels without doing the auto adjustments first, because you can maybe see the difference that it makes. So levels here. This one's quite even as well. I would just not do too much, but it's got a bit of a problem with the blown out white here. And you see this on the histogram, that there's a lot of pixels right at the very end. So if I move here, that's going to get worse, that issue. Even though I'm affecting the other pixels in a good way, this blowing out. So this would be a thing where I wouldn't use this image, because this white is going to be a problem, whatever I do. Okay, I could bring this in a bit, and I could bring that up a little bit, but it's still, ultimately, I'm not going to be able to get rid of that white pixels there. Okay, so that's one where I then wouldn't use that image. Okay. These outdoor ones, they kind of have quite nice light. I will just crop it. Okay, get it to, depending on what I want it. If I want it for the group one, I would make it more long, but if I want it as one of the ones in the middle of the page, I'll do this. Turn, let's decide levels on this one. Again, it's quite well exposed, it's quite even. I can just bring the white in a bit. Okay, this one I might want to lighten the middle tones a little bit. maybe not too much. Bring them down. But there you go. So those are the main ones I would use to do quick adjustments and quick edits to boost your images. Okay.